سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Allahu Akbar!
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, that's right, infidels. You found us here, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, where you get the most real talk, the best reviews of all your favorite wrestling shows from AEW and WWE, Impact, and more, because we're going to break it all down with the best staff in professional wrestling at HMG. So you don't need to go anywhere else, because there's no 5 stars here. There's only $5 face slaps, infidel.
Allahu Akbar!
So sign up today, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, and join the Hameen Army for the most real talk in professional wrestling. YOLO!
Warning. The following video clip contains strong language and has therefore been rated 18+ by the YouTube NECCA. Viewer discretion is advised.
The Antonio Inoki Memorial Spectacular January 4, 2023 Wrestle Kingdom 17.
始まってんだよ世代交代俺が新日本プロレス変えてやる
The Tokyo Dome, we're going to establish this championship. I assure you, mate, my vision of Strong Style will come out top.
One more time with the insane elbow. Henry has done it.
このベルト、命が吹き込まれました。中野タムの少年地獄に溺れさせてあげるよ。
出て和と広めで応援まとめて出てこい。
久しぶりだな、新日本の皆様。I will once again change the world. ウェル・オスプレイとケニー・オメガの違いを見せます。
This isn't the guy you met, is it? Before the money, before the United Empire, before all of this, I was an assassin. Only it's time I bring him back.
これからの時代が誰が引っ張っていくかって東京ドームで決めようぜ。
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.
Hello everyone and welcome to the PWC Wrestle Kingdom 17 review show. I'm your host Jimmy T, and my co-host, he is the opinion haver. He's the actual 2-time opinion haver. He is the vet. He's a Rip Rogers guy. Jaimie Williams, welcome back to the PWC and welcome to the Wrestle Kingdom review show, man.
Man,
what's cracking?
So excited to be talking about New Japan and not having to force it and shoehorn it into other shows about terrible American wrestling. Let's talk about a real wrestling company, Jimmy.
Let's, because after watching this show, you realize how good New Japan Pro Wrestling is.
You hear that, Dr. Jeff? You hear that? Did you see that on Twitter?
No, what did he write?
You didn't happen to see.
Jeff is driving me nuts.
You know how Jeff is. He'll take any opportunity to drag New Japan through the mud if he can get it right. So he started posting some shit about how the attendance for Wrestle Kingdom was the lowest it's been in years or whatever. And I was like, and he's posting this before the show even goes live, right? And now, so when I see this tweet now, I'm watching Wrestle Kingdom, and it's just the pre-show, right? So people are still coming in, and I'm looking, I'm like, I don't know, this crowd looks pretty good to me. So I don't know what you're talking about. And then he tried to throw some WrestleNomics charts at me, and this supposed doctor didn't even bother to look and see that the numbers he's trying to quote are from 2022 Wrestle Kingdom, a year ago. So he's sitting here talking about lowest attendance in years, and he's looking at last year's chart and trying to drop knowledge.
Damn.
Don't look. If you don't, nobody wants it with me on Twitter. Number one, I'm not going to get actually into it with you. I just won't sell you, first of all. But because Dr. Jeff is a good friend, I made sure to, to the hope of avoiding future embarrassments, I just had to let him know how things were. And I basically, my final tweet was something to the effect of a typical a wrestling fan with no knowledge has a strong opinion.
Oh, that's a stinger right there. And look, man, I love Jeff. You're my boy, but damn it, Jeff, you could be so much sometimes, man. But you know what?
If it doesn't have a supernatural doll in it, he ain't interested.
He's got passion. How about that? He's very passionate. But sometimes, my friend, you got to do some fact checking, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Or don't even check the fact. Just read the actual facts that you yourself are trying to use before you post them.
Jeez,
he told on himself with that one, so you can go back and check that one in the Twitter archives, everybody. But
he loves being wrong, Mr. Lippman. But shout outs to Jeffrey Lippman anyway. And yeah, man.
We'll have him recently. We recently had Jeff as a guest on on Next Level Wrestling Review, and we'd love to have him back anytime, except for most times. So we'll send the invite out to Jeff next time we get a chance. But it's all love, right?
Jeff, what do you do? But we're here to talk Wrestle Kingdom. Mm-hmm. We're here to talk a real wrestling company and a real wrestling event. And I'm sorry, guys. Call us Mark Tarts. Call us what you want. All right. The truth is, does this mean we don't know shit? I mean, watching this event, the structure, just the way everything was paced out, was probably one of the best Wrestle Kingdoms ever in terms of pacing. I really felt that.
It was nice. We're a long way from the old 10, 6 and 8 man tag matches on the card, like it was back in 10 and 11 and stuff.
Jesus, man.
We've actually got a variety of matches. We've got a ladies match.
Yes,
we've got a women's match on here. Yeah, well, it was less. Well, we'll talk about it. But
we will. I enjoyed that match, dude.
Quite a variety here.
Yeah, no, this event had it all, man. I mean, it literally did. It was the first event in a real long time. Well, actually, the first event ever to actually have WWE and AEW guys signed while being on the same card. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it really had a bit of everything, including some Mercedes and some Money, shall I say. But we'll get to that shortly. But let's get into it anyway. Do you want to go through the pre-show as well?
Well, we can at least just let the people know what matches they had on the pre-show.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to really get too into it. I'll be honest, I actually missed the pre-show.
Oh, did you?
But
okay.
I actually did, yeah. I really did. So I tuned in right as soon as because I didn't realize, I'm thinking, shit, it started a little earlier than usual by my time. And but it was great watching it in prime time, unlike always having to watch live American events. It's usually around lunchtime, so yeah, which is not bad.
Right. It was on my coast it started at 10:20 p.m. and which was an odd start time anyway. And an hour and 40 of that is everything else except for the main card starting. So like there was the big gaps in between where there was like nothing happening and they're trying to set stuff up. So it'd be like,
I hate that. Yeah,
the
they
first
always do that.
The first match was one of those Kazakhstanian kids
Bolton
named
Oleg.
Yeah, making his debut. So he's a young lion, but yet he gets to wear like a red singlet, which is like the first young lion non-black trunks and boots guy I've seen, and he did like a 3-minute amateur rules exhibition with Ryuhei Oiwa. So they did just a little wrestling. Just got down the mat, did a little wrestling for 3 minutes. It was a draw, of course, and then that's his first exposure to an audience, I think. So
does he have potential, Vet? Bolton, that is
hard to tell just from what we saw there, because he didn't really do anything he wouldn't have done other than instead of a shoot, it's kind of a work,
Right, of course, right.
But I don't know. We'll see if he gets in the ring, runs the ropes, goes up and down, stuff like that. We'll see what he's really got. But he's one to watch. And there was, of course, the Rumble. I'm not going to call it a Ronbo. It's a Rumble. They had that, and of course that's always like the final four. As soon as it gets down to 4 men, then you have your KOPW 4-way competitors for New Year's Dash, right? So that's was
right.
The randomest group of course, Yano was going to be in it, and Sho,
always, and Tagaki,
Great Okan, and who was the fourth guy?
Tagaki.
What
Shingo.
Oh, that's right. Of course, yes, of course. So. Yeah,
why would they put Shingo, man, in the pre-show? But anyway, it is what it is. Then we had Yugi Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, and Togi Makabe defeating Tatsumi Fujinami. He's still wrestling. Tiger Mask and Minoru Suzuki in the Antonio Inoki Memorial match, which was good to see. I caught the tail end of this match up, though.
Okay. Yeah, so, you basically, this is your old guys match. It's very nice.
Yeah.
And, fuck Fujinami, man. I mean, he don't look bad in there for like being 119 or whatever he is now.
Seriously, I think he's a WWE Hall of Famer also.
He is. Yeah, actually a light heavyweight champion back when they were trying to get that over there. When they had those working relationships with Vince Sr. And the Fujinami was great, man. Like he's been good, like I said, he's still like in shape. He's still jacked.
That's weird,
fucking
man.
70 something on the gas or whatever. Like, come on, man, calm down. But
but really, he hasn't changed in the last 20 years, bro. When you think
Right.
about it, just like Suzuki, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
I mean, it's funny, but in a way, it's crazy to see him still going, but at the same time, it's good to see him still going, in many ways. I mean, Japanese wrestlers can go on till they die, basically, in the ring. I mean...
And they do.
Literally.
Well, look, nobody's going to, like, 0 Japanese wrestlers are going to do worse than Ric Flair's last match. Like, it just can't... Nothing can be worse than that, so... you're not going to have the reanimated corpse... just flopping around like Weekend at Bernie's in there. And Matt, you know how like we're not gonna turn this into a bash on Ric Flair's last match podcast, but if you remember, you remember how Vince looked when he took the stunner at WrestleMania.
Why, back in 2001 you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about this year's WrestleMania or this past year's WrestleMania. You know,
he can't sell it properly ever.
Yeah, so now imagine a whole match like that, and that was Ric Flair in his last match.
I didn't even bother watching Flair's last match, honestly, man. I just didn't even bother. I was thinking like I was going to, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
forget it.
Unless you want to feel sad, don't watch it.
Ah, man, I get it. They can never let it go and whatnot, but like, I mean, surely there comes a time where you got to have some self-respect for your own legacy, man. And it is what it is.
Out the window. Yeah, but Fujinami though, he only shows up once in a while, takes off that robe still jacked. He doesn't embarrass himself. So it's nice just to see him out there. Yeah.
At least get into shape before you do a fucking match. I mean, just just a hint. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Flair stops wrestling, but I highly doubt it. I believe he's going to have another match soon, supposedly.
If you're listening to audio only, I'm rolling my eyes.
He actually did. Anyway, let's get into the main card though, Vet, right. Because it is Catch 22 in TJP and Francesco Akira defeating Chaos in Leo Rush and Yo to retain the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles via pinfall. This match was crazy, man.
Yeah. Leo got hard-weighed pretty relatively early on.
And pretty bad too, man. It looked pretty bad anyway. I mean, but you know what? As much as I can't stand Leo Rush deep down, right? He still wows me in the ring, man. I mean, for a little guy, I mean, he's pretty amazing, man.
It was, there was a spot there where he he went for his springboard thing and he slipped, but I think the spot was he was supposed to come back and get caught in the German anyway. So they were able to cover it pretty much flawlessly there, which was lucky. Leo Rush is actually really good.
He is.
I'm not talking, and I don't, and I do not give a shit about his speed or athletic ability or any of that. I'm just talking about he has such a ring presence and knows what to do at times. That you never really get to see it. At his babyface stuff, it's just, typical babyface stuff. When he was a heel, particularly a few matches in 205 Live, way back when that was a thing, he is really, I don't know how to describe it other than he just, I was impressed with the way he had a command of the ring. He looked like the way he was, his body language looked like he was 6'5". Based on the way he was menacing and how when he was getting heat, he looked like he really hated that person, not just doing moves just to do them. So I know he's got the capability to do that. Unfortunately, he is the size of a very small child, so that does kind of suck. It's unfortunate, but he's one of those guys that reminds me of how Bobby Heenan, was a great manager, but also a great worker and a great talker and stuff like that. He reminds me of one of those guys, that can be remembered as an all-arounder. But he's also had these stop and starts with different companies and other things going on.
Well, that's his issue, really. Let's be honest. Yeah. I mean, he's got work rate, but does he have work rate for the long run? And when I say that, I mean, you can't trust him every time. I mean, companies always give him a chance and after chance, and I'm sure he's a top guy, right? Absolutely, but I don't know if it's a mental thing or I guess it is. He just can't go all in, no pun intended, with whatever company. And that's the issue. Is he hungry enough? Does he really want this enough? And that's the question.
Yeah, I think it's not so much that he's an emotional guy and he stands up for himself.
For sure.
And people in wrestling don't like that. You remember the incident about him refusing to carry people's bags and stuff like that, which I'm kind of on his side in that. You know what I mean? So when I hear about these things, they always paint him out to be the problem. And my thing is, with my own experiences, is look, I don't suffer fools gladly. So when people try to pull that shit on me, I just say, you know what? Maybe the wrestling business isn't for me.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna sit there and take those shit from a bunch of idiots, right? So here I am doing a podcast with you, and I enjoy this much more than dealing with those kind of politics and stuff, and so I think Leo Rush has gone through a lot of that. And because people, see him in whatever light, they may try to cast him as the problem, and maybe there's a little bit of that. But come on, we've seen it with a lot more people than Leo Rush.
No, absolutely, it's true.
Yeah, man. So he seems happy in Japan, this I guess was if he's to be believed, then this was a dream of his, and I thought that he and Yo had a fine little junior tag league, and then
Yo's awesome still, dude. He's on another level. I mean, everyone gelled so well in this match, to be fair, man. But Yo
TJP's been doing it forever. Like he's the
going,
old ass TJP.
Oh man,
You know?
I hate his mop head though, man. Like, what's with the hairstyle, dude?
That's heat, bro. That's heat.
Oh god, man.
That's heat.
Yeah, it is heat, but like, yeah, no, it was good to see TJP. I mean, he's been
Francesco gets heat for being a ginger Italian.
Is he legitimately Italian, dude?
Yes.
No shit.
You didn't know that?
No, I actually didn't realize he was legitimately Italian.
He speaks Italian, and yeah.
Well,
and his name is Francesco.
I know, but how many Italians have we had in pro wrestling? Like
he's Tony D'Angelo. Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey. Yeah, no, he's a shoot Italian,
like from Italy.
Yes, but he is a ginger, so I understand your confusion.
Yeah, that's weird, dude. I'm not gonna lie. We got some comments in the chat. Homeboy88 says, "What the vet?" Well, you know what that means, vet.
One of my biggest fans, Homeboy88.
Absolutely. He also says, "I love New Japan and also Old Japan, like Ghost of Tsushima Japan." Nice, nicely played, very nice. And Facebook user says, "Me and Dr. Jeff hate." Mm-hmm. Who's that? I wonder who that is.
I don't know, but I can understand how the hate would flow through you if you're still using Facebook. Yep.
And there's comments galore right now, man. But someone also says, Facebook user also says, we need a modern day Bobby Heenan, fellas. And no way. Leo Rush and Enzo would be gold? Hell no.
I mean, they may have gold hair. And they
as a team or feud. I don't feel it either way, man. Just to be fair. I mean,
Leo's gonna have to go back to MLW for that to happen.
Man, what do we have here, Vet? Seriously. But anyway.
Yeah. So good match. And I surprisingly, with a extremely strong small package, TJP retains the junior tag belts.
Yeah, no, they did. It was a reverse direct drive, and that's what pinned Yo with an inside cradle.
Did you now, Jimmy? When you see a guy do a small package, do you like always check to see if they cross their legs?
Well,
you know what I mean.
Shouldn't they cross their legs?
They should.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're supposed to like cross your feet to make sure that they can't kick out. But a lot of guys just leave their feet apart, and it's like lazy.
Really? Is that what's happening now? I actually never noticed because every time I think about it, I think of the crossed legs. Mm-hmm. That's funny. I actually pay more attention to that.
Yeah, watch these lazy fuckers. You know.
That's funny, man.
But TJ cinched it in. Like he had a very believable inside cradle. Like it looked like Yo couldn't have kicked out if he wanted to.
And the thing is, what people don't understand, you can call fans of Japanese wrestling mark-tards, you can call us whatever you want, but the fact is, even the wrestlers themselves have got New Japan on their bucket list. 90% of them, man. Even in America, wherever. It doesn't matter. Australia, New Zealand, you name it. New Japan is on many people's bucket list. And I don't think a lot of fans that just doesn't understand New Japan don't actually see that, you know what I mean?
Well, let's put, they don't see it, period. Let me just put this, we can put the haters to bed with just this one comment. There's many people that say New Japan is this or that. If you ask them if they watch it, they all say no to a man. So if you don't watch it, don't talk about it. You don't know. I watch all the stuff everybody else watches. So when I say it, you can trust that what I'm saying is coming from a place of, yes, I have observed it. I experienced it. I do know what I'm talking about. You're talking shit on things you don't know about because you don't watch it. And watching clips isn't the same. Jeff. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, that's the other thing, Jeff. Real New Japan fans don't watch Access TV. Real New Japan fans have a 999 yen subscription, bro. Okay?
Access. I can't believe that annoys me, man.
2 matches a week.
The one thing that annoys me about Jeff, I'll say this straight out, and if you're listening, it's true. Every time you bring up New Japan on Access, like, come on, dude.
You're talking about the ratings on Access TV?
Like, most North American fans, first of all, that are fans of New Japan will not be watching Access. You know what I mean?
It's somebody. The only people that watch Access are like, and New Japan gets like 100,000 viewers or whatever. It's people that fell asleep watching like a Eagles concert or something. Like old people that were watching an Eagles concert and fell asleep, and New Japan came on. That's the only numbers they're getting. Real fans actually watch New Japan World. So
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
9.99 yen. Buckshot Kid. Hello.
Ooh,
hello,
Buckshot Kid. The great
Buckshot Kid. Yeah. And Homeboy says Jimmy has a small package. How do you know, Homeboy?
Uncalled for.
How do you know?
Uncalled for. You could probably time him out if he says some disrespectful stuff like that again.
Oh, you know what? I should. I'll put him in timeout.
5 minute.
I just did. 5 minute timeout for you, Homeboy.
5 minute in the penalty box. This is the Iron Survivor Wrestle Kingdom review. Now you gotta spend 5 minutes in the penalty box.
And just quietly, Homeboy, I did not block you on my phone. I don't know why you get that idea, but anyway, that's weird. But I did put you in the sin bin for 5 minutes. But anyway, let's get back into New Japan, though, and Wrestle Kingdom to be specific, because the next match is Kari, whatever you want to say, defeating Tam Nakano for the IWGP Women's Championship, and I enjoyed this match thoroughly, dude.
Yeah, it was a little short because most of it was going to be the business afterwards. But I don't know if you caught much Stardom recently, Jimmy. I know that I really wish I could watch more of it.
It's hard, man, with all these shows catching up. I mean, seriously, let's be
fair.
But
they recently had a show like on the 29th of December, and that's where Kairi had her match with am I gonna get this right? Utami Hayashishita?
Yes, that was that spot on.
Thank you.
Spot on.
So yeah, they had a pretty good match. But man, there's some ass kickers in Stardom, and there's some chicks that can really take a beating. Like so here's an interesting booking decision. Nakano and Natsupoi, they're a tag team, and they were the tag team champions, right? And then they had a match against like a couple of fat chicks, and those chicks kicked the fuck out of both of them, and they took the belts. So, you know, you would think that a sitting champion going into a big Wrestle Kingdom match, you wouldn't want to beat her like right before, because you're basically just saying like, you know, well, she ain't gonna win.
And New Japan, they play like that anyway. So I mean, let's be honest.
It's weird, but yeah. So and as you like to say, Jimmy, just quietly, Julia is a fucking star, and I don't think she needs WWE, but WWE needs somebody like that.
It'd be interesting to see how they would like book her though, man, and especially now with Vinnie Mac and all this talk of sales going on over there in WWE. I don't even know where we're going with that company.
I got an idea. You bring Julia in and have her beat everybody. That's how you book her.
But it won't, you know how it is. It will never happen. But
anyway, here we are to talk about this match, which, like we said, short. Tam's coming in off a loss, but this was all really just to set up the next thing. So I'll let you take that.
Yeah, and that next thing is Mercedes Moné, a.k.a. Sasha Banks.
Get it? It's Monet because it's like money.
Yeah.
It sounds like money a little bit.
I'll be honest, man. Look, all the people that say this stunk doesn't understand what's going on in Japan right now, man. Just because it was quiet, it doesn't mean they hated it, just for the record. But I'll get into it. She was introduced as the CEO and announced a 7-time singles champion. Her entrance music also had a money theme. She was wearing a Statue of Liberty-like crown and a Japanese flag-themed white robe, which she removed to reveal she was in her gear. Ooh, with heels too, vet. Anyway, Kairi held up the bout and Monet dropped her. She called for a mic and delivered a promo introducing herself and setting up a match at Battle in the Valley in San Jose on February 18th. Yeah, that's in your neck of the woods, pretty much.
Yeah, it's about 2-hour drive away.
Are you gonna go?
I will not be attending. No.
Ah, damn.
It's just dude. It's just a lot of work.
No, I understand, dude.
I went when they came, so I've seen my New Japan. I got Rainmaker gave me
me too.
Rainmaker gave me a high five, so I'm good.
You know my story about the damn Rainmaker.
Yes, it's a great story. We'll tell it again sometime.
Yeah, but not now.
Yeah, but
yeah, that's how that thing got led to that story. But anyway,
yeah. So yeah, everybody's really just talking about the fact that Kairi kind of took a bump a little bit early because it seemed like she didn't know what the hell move was trying to happen. So it kind of got a little awkward.
Yeah, that was awkward. That was awkward. And I think, to be fair, Mercedes Moné, well, maybe she felt a little uncomfortable, especially, I don't know if what she was expecting in terms of New Japan and the crowd, but they were just kind of like, just in awe, really. Because when they see WWE sort of wrestlers, they understand, and let's be real, they really do. They understand how big of stars they kind of are in the mainstream type of audience, and they really appreciate that too. I mean, there's nothing better than a big bad American heel in Japan, right? I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to give this for a little context. There's a random Japanese guy follows me on Twitter,
right?
And I don't know this person, and the only reason they follow me is probably because I may have made a post about New Japan at some point, and with hashtags. So maybe they were searching hashtags and they just saw my post and they wanted to follow me for whatever reason. So this person, whenever there's an event in the Tokyo Dome or whatever, this person usually goes to these events, and they post pictures from their seat and they live tweet the whole thing. So whether they're actually at the event or whether they're watching on watching at home, he's live tweeting the show. And when it came to the part about Sasha, he's basically and you have to use the Twitter translate to change the Japanese to English, so it's not going to be a perfect translation, but it was something to the effect of the entire cachet of the women's division just shot up. You know what I mean? So this is a Japanese person in Japan basically putting it over this is a big deal. This is a really big deal.
And it is a big deal. It really is. And that's how they react. When they dig something, man, they really look like they pay attention. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that this was the first event, I believe, that cheering was allowed again. And you could tell they weren't used to even cheering. Because if you look back to the old 80s, 90s, All Japan stuff especially, in particular, the fans were nuts in Japan back then, dude. Crazy.
The fans build with the match too. They start out with clapping during the wrestling part, and then when stuff heats up, they start yelling out the wrestler names. You'll hear people yell out,
Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny. And then by the end they're stomping their feet and screaming and stuff when the false finishes and stuff come in. So they're into it. They know what's up. Now
they've been trained now though a little bit though, Vet, I feel. That's the only thing.
Well, so this wasn't the only event that I had cheering, because some Tokyo shows at Korakuen had cheering allowed, and some at different towns. It all depends on I guess how sick the towns had been lately, is how much was allowed, right? So it's just, the whole thing's crazy. But we're not here to talk about that. I just wanted to say that so I wanted to ask you, did you see what did you think Sasha was going to do before this happened? Because there were rumors and stuff, but just for example, I thought, because WWE obviously seems to be, with Triple H being fine with people doing little special things, Carl Anderson was here on this show, Nakamura was in Noah a couple nights before, so he is, and I'm sure he wants to have Sasha back. So I was thinking that she might show up as Sasha Banks because she's going to be able to go back and forth like at her leisure. Maybe she'll do a little Stardom tour and then maybe she'll come back or something like that.
But
that's what I thought would happen. But what did you think might happen?
Honestly, look, where there's smoke, there's fire. I knew she was going to appear at Wrestle Kingdom. That was a sure thing for me at that point, right before the event started. But I didn't expect Mercedes Moné. I was expecting Mercedes something, but not Moné. It
is kind of whack, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
just a little bit whack.
Eminem. I mean, yeah, Sasha Banks is so much better, dude. Like, really, the boss. But in saying that, if she was going to be appearing as Sasha Banks, I would have thought she would have already been Sasha Banks in New Japan right now, or Stardom even moving forward. But we'll see. See, I'm not sure. Like, my gut tells me she's still signed with WWE and WWE's allowing her to do her thing. Mm-hmm. But then again, why is she using the Mercedes Moné character and not Sasha Banks?
Unless she doesn't want to stooge off that she's still with WWE.
Okay, but what's
or like they make a deal just to I agree, Jimmy. I'm just trying to figure out like what the reasoning they might have. I mean, I'm sure silly. Either one of us would just be like, I don't care, just call yourself your most famous name.
That's it, man.
Yeah,
she should have been Sasha Moné for I care.
Or Mercedes Banks.
Hey, Mercedes
wrong
Banks
with that?
Sounds actually pretty cool, man. Think about it. Mercedes Banks, like cha-ching. It's all about the money.
I'm the twin sister of Sasha Banks.
Yeah, like Sasha Fierce, like Beyonce. You know what I mean? It's true. She would call herself Sasha Fierce. So there you go. Oh, and we got a comment in the chat going to you, Vet. Buckshot Kid says, like I told Vet before, I don't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling because I don't want to see so many Western people on the show all the time. That doesn't make sense, dude. Just quietly, but why?
Yeah, they're very few and far between. But to watch Buckshot Kid's just trolling. But to watch AEW, you would think that everybody in New Japan is a white guy. You know what I mean? Like they only bring it up. They'll be like, "Oh, Trent from New Japan." Like, shut the fuck up, dude. That's not real. Trent's not in New Japan.
Oh, look, Homeboy's back from the sin bin, and he says Nature Boy Ric Flair is the greatest of all time. Woo. I don't know, man. But he also says my favorite Japanese wrestler was Sapporo Nagasaki.
I don't know who that is.
Neither do I.
I think he combined a beer and another Japanese and a Japanese city.
Jesus Christ, what's wrong with people? Anyway, let's get back into Wrestle Kingdom, though. But like I said, I don't know what's going on with Mercedes Moné. Hopefully, she's much... Because the thing is, when you let the talent do whatever they want, you get this. I'm just saying, like...
A little bit, yeah. And as I pointed out on another show I did, like... Can you name a non-awkward New Japan debut? They're all awkward. Every single one of them. That's one thing they don't do well is debuts.
Yeah, it's strange that, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, unless it's Jericho, because Jericho just gets it, you know what I mean? Like, when he's in Japan, he goes full Japan mode, if you know what I mean.
I hated Chris Jericho in Japan.
Really? I thought it was pretty good, man.
I bet he thought it was pretty good.
Oh, he
just comes in. Great, he's stuck in his memories of Japan from the 90s. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I just go and beat everybody up and they love it. And he's like, I'm Bruiser Brody size. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
And he overdoes it too. Like, Naito.
And all of a sudden, everybody in New Japan starts bleeding from the head as soon as Chris Jericho shows up. What?
Every time,
this is weird. Yeah. Just he's done. Stick a fork in him. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about real Japanese wrestling now.
And you know what? This match was pretty good. I felt it was Bishamon in Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi defeating FTR in Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler to win the IWGP.
More white guys.
Yeah, well, the whitest is white guys you can get. But they also end up winning the IWGP World Tag Team Heavyweight titles in a really good, hard-hitting match.
Yeah, it was all right. You know, FTR is overrated as fuck, and
I agree, dude. 100% Thank you.
They're only good. They're only good because everybody else is so bad at tag team wrestling these days. So as long as you've watched a few Midnight Express and Rock and Roll Express VHS tapes, you could be better than every other tag team. So that's kind of what they're
ripped off the theme, dude.
Yeah, exactly, right. Oh, it's an homage, Jimmy. It's an homage, but
sorry.
But yeah, it's different than a ripoff because
bad.
it's a different word. But so
homage.
Yeah, but this highlights the problem with the one glaring problem with New Japan as a company, which is there is no tag team division, none. This is it. Bishamon is it.
What is the tag team division?
And they're
right
only
now, right?
Bishamon only was a slap together tag team that came around last year, and it took them all the way up until like a couple of months ago to finally get like a new theme song, matching gear, a tag team name, and all this other stuff. But you basically took two fucking guys that you didn't want to do anything with. You were never going to pull the trigger on Hiroki Goto. Yoshihashi is like the absolute one of the worst wrestlers that they have. And you put them together and it's like, I don't know, this, you know, like you can see Gato not caring, but
to be fair, they've ended up gelling pretty well. I mean, even I didn't like them at first, but they've grown on me over the last couple of years, dude.
That's fine. But even if you like them, like who else? There's no one else. Like they broke up Suzuki-gun, so Zack and Taichi aren't a thing.
What's
you've
up
got
with that,
and they were just a slap together tag team, you know. So I don't know. If it were me, what I would do is I would take, I would definitely concentrate on maybe a couple of the young lions that are going to come through in the next few years and make them a team when they come back, and then I would take the legends like Tenkozy and GBH. And I would make them like actual contenders. Like instead of just having them, do jobs, like I would have them as tag teams and be contenders as tag teams. Because if you can't come up with a better tag team, we might as well use the legends for something besides, letting other guys go over on them just for a little bit. Like that's what I would do. And then, but as it is, they don't have a focus on the tag team division, and that's one thing, but now they don't even have tag teams, and that's a completely different thing.
Yeah, which is strange. I mean, they've never been like this when you really think about it. I mean, this is weird in many ways. They don't usually allow that type of stuff to happen, but it is what it is.
That's probably why they were okay with FTR just having those belts for however long, because there was nothing else to do with it anyway.
Dude, Dax Hardwood needs to shut the fuck up, straight up. And
Dax
Cash
Jackson
Wheeler.
And Cash Cashton.
And Cash Wheeler, you know what, man? He's so much more underrated, though, compared to Dash, to be honest, man. I think, seriously, their names, Dashy, fucking Cashy.
Yeah.
What do I call them?
Cashwood Hardson.
Oh man!
Yeah, I don't even know.
What was their original
I have to
names?
actually think. I have to actually think of which one's which, and what their names are.
It's a tongue twister, dude. Cash Wheeler, Dax Hardwood. What the fuck? What does that even mean? Like,
I don't know. It's just a bunch of sounds. Just a bunch of sounds in a row.
Cash Wheeler, yeah.
Cash Daxon and Dax Cashton.
Cash Daxon.
Whatever. Yeah.
Excuse me. So,
yeah.
I'm crying right here, man. That is fucking funny. Speaking of funny, Facebook user says Pretty Deadly are more in sync than FTR. Dax is Wrestler of the Year in 2022, leaving Cash in the dust, yet he lost more times than not. Yes, boy.
Yes, boy. Yeah, Pretty Deadly's fucking great. They're probably the best tag team in the world right now. If you want to be serious about it.
I've always talked them up, man. I mean, I kind of dig them. You know what I mean? They're a real tag team. They're a proper tag team, and they actually go back to the UK as well as a tag team. But and they just work, man. It is what it is. But as we were saying about New Japan, we need some tag teams, but where they go from here, who the hell knows? But then again, the next match could be a hint, though, Vet, because we get Zack Sabre Jr., Rennerita, via submission to become the first IWGP World Television Champion. And all TV title matches will have a 15-minute time limit moving forward. This one didn't get that far, but they wrestled like they were on clock, though. And I kind of enjoy this because, you know, ZSJ, he makes me laugh just how good he is in the ring. And just the way he talks shit and just his head. Like, really, he's got a head you just want to fucking slap, right? But that's what makes him so great. I mean, he's so underrated, in my opinion. It took me a while to really understand him. But damn it, man, I've been a fan of his for years now. And what's with the blonde hair, dude?
I don't know. I don't know.
He looks more of a douchebag.
Why out of nowhere? Yeah.
He looks more of a douchebag. It's heat, I guess, right? Like you were saying earlier, it's heat.
Maybe, yeah.
But this confused me also because we get my boys in TMDK, and ZSJ joins TMDK.
Yeah, they gave him the shirt.
I don't know if I like this, dude, because generally, like, going by history with TMDK, it's usually always strictly an Australian group with Australian wrestlers. Always.
Right.
Always has been. That TMDK group has been a thing for years on the Australian indie scene. You know what I mean? And Jonah is also part of that originally.
Well, what about Bad Dude Tito?
Bad Dude Tito. What about
him? He's in it. He's in it. Unless they kicked him out at some point and I didn't notice, but he's not Australian.
Well, it was supposed to be. It was always meant to be strictly.
So you're saying it started with Bad Dude Tito. They started sullying the. So you're saying you want to keep TMDK segregated, is what you're saying?
No, see, now that sounds bad.
So
that sounds bad.
The headline is that Jimmy T wants segregation in wrestling. Okay, got it.
No, not like that. I'm just saying I find it kind of weird that that faction always traditionally was strictly, because that was the motto. Like, you know what I mean? Like them taking over the independent scene worldwide as a unit. You know what I mean? But I guess things have changed.
Do you think maybe it's just because when they first started out, only Australian guys were going to be in the group because nobody else would come to Australia because it doesn't exist. But
that's true. I don't exist. Just quietly. I'm not here.
Not even here. So. It's a bootleg British accent. So
it's a real bootleg British accent.
So no, but what I didn't like about it was Zach so easily joining it, like because he's always like he just got out of a group and he seems like the kind of guy that would be like fuck off, like you
and
just
he
wouldn't.
Acted like he was going to like throw the shit.
And then he just so he joined too easily. Maybe this could have taken a few more shows for him to finally agree to it. Like them chasing him around with the shirt, like, come on, man, do it. And he's like, I don't know.
He's happy, he's so happy to join too. Like, really? Like,
a big character 180 for him. Because he's usually such a miserable, complaining douchebag with blonde hair, right? So, so all of a sudden he's a happy, hey, my buddies. I don't know. It felt a little weird, but I don't know, man. Whatever.
Dude,
it's too late now. He's in it.
This is classic ZSJ.
I'm furious. Bryan Danielson, you cheeky bastard. Huh? That was not technical wrestling. I did not sign up for that. I was coming for you, Bryan, because we were going to find out who the best technical wrestler in the world is. But you didn't bloody show up, did you? And surprises, I bloody hate surprises. Sodding Claudio. Did he not get the memo? That was supposed to be a technical wrestling match. Where was the technique, you Swiss bastard? 3 years ago, I said that giving a technical wrestling match to an American audience was like reading Shakespeare to a dog. Well, I've updated it. It's like asking a dead dog to decipher whether a Monet is a fraudulent or not.
Welcome to the AEW.
Claudio Castagnoli! That was not a technical wrestling match. I am still the best technical wrestler in the world. Huh? But next time, any of you soddy yanks, want to put the test to me, you can get your ass to Japan, you can get your ass to the UK, because I'm not coming back to America.
That's ZSJ, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little different, wouldn't you say?
It is, but we'll see what happens, man. I just didn't like how enthusiastic he was in joining TMDK. It's just unrealistic. But who am I to say? Maybe they're best friends for man. But anyway,
maybe if Bryan Danielson would have gave him a Blackpool Combat Club shirt, he would have happily joined that group instead of having heat with them. Maybe it's just about no one offering him shirts this whole time.
He would have been good, actually, in the Blackpool Combat Club. I think he would have been great, but that didn't happen.
He's closer to being from Blackpool than any of them.
Well, yeah, that's facts. But anyway, Zack Sabre Jr. ends up defeating Ren Narita via submission to become the first IWGP World Television Champion. And as I was saying earlier, but afterwards, Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols came out and offered the Suzuki Gun a loom on their team as Zack Sabre Jr. joined them by putting on the TMDK shirt. I guess the Mighty Don't Kneel, including Zack Sabre Jr. vet.
Yeah, well, we covered all that. I would like to just point out that with Ren Narita doing the I am actually Katsuyori Shibata gimmick, dude, I just think the kid
I don't know if I like that. He's too much of a carbon copy of Shibata. Like, literally. He's the
actually, I was going to say he's not enough of a carbon copy because he's too soft to be... Like, his strikes don't have any sting on them. He's not as well versed in grappling. Even his attitude and demeanor doesn't seem like he's really that much of a cold-blooded killer. He just seems like he's a cosplayer, but not actually trying to embody the spirit. I mean, when you watch a Shibata kick somebody and then you watch Narita kick somebody, it's night and day difference. And no offense to the kid, I just don't think that's the person he should be emulating. So either he's going to grow into this and actually tighten up some of his stuff, or he's going to evolve out of the gimmick and be his own gimmick.
It's true. And I'm to be fair, Vet, I'm starting to hate this... let's pretend to be a pro wrestler thing going on in all of pro wrestling. I mean, including FTR, Dashwood and Cash Money. Yeah. Cashwood, whatever. Those guys, they're always literally, pretending playing wrestlers. They're literally mimicking everybody's matches these days. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. But as far as Ren Narita goes... The kid's got potential, let's be honest. He does, right?
He's good. He's good, but just not Shibata.
Not Shibata, right.
He just doesn't... I never... When I watched his Young Lion matches, I never really thought he wasn't good. But I also was not sitting there looking at him saying, oh, I see another Shibata on our hands. Just, no, I never thought that. He doesn't, And other than the haircut, what's really
the haircut, the beard,
the similarity? Yeah, he's just not the same. And you got Shibata sitting right there. And then when they cut to him, when they cut to Shibata at the announce desk,
he doesn't look impressed, dude.
Well, but he looks way tougher just sitting there in the announce chair than Narita looks in the ring. He's soft. Narita's soft in physique and in his mechanics. So if he just tightens it up a little bit, it'd be all right. But I don't think he has the heart for it, personally.
Not just the heart. I think personally he's too young to be trying to
not grizzled enough.
Nah, he needs to. Okay. That gimmick shouldn't have been thrown on him at such a young age, man. Right. The kid doesn't need that sort of pressure right now.
Does it almost feel like somebody said, hey, you look like Shibata. Hey, Shibata, why don't you train him and try to make him you?
It does. I mean, he does. He does look like a young Shibata. Just a Mimito version of a Shibata. I mean, Shibata's a bread, right? Also, Shibata, right?
He'd
be like...
that's Italian, like Francesco Akira.
Yes, exactly. But he'd be half a Ciabatta, literally, if that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If that, yeah. Half is generous, yes.
I hope they don't kill the kid because the kid is good.
Hey,
he's just... Yeah.
While we're talking about the TV championship, can we just say fuck both of these guys? Because it really should have been the ultimate winner of the TV championship should have been Kenta. Like 100%. If you wanted a guy to be on your social media and like trying to get a belt over, that's the guy you want. He could speak Japanese and English fluently, And his promos, I know you probably didn't watch a lot of these, but the promos that he cut backstage throughout the entire G1, just of him like promoting his autobiography and all the funny stuff that he did. Dude, that guy is so funny. That's who you want. If the idea of this belt is to really be like to push the company through social media, I'm sorry, even Zack Sabre Jr. is not really going to give you what you want there. And Narita sure as shit wasn't going to do it. But Kenta is very camera friendly and media friendly. So I would have had him doing all kinds of promo work on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, every social media platform to try to get this thing over, because that guy's brilliant.
Where was Kenta anyway?
I don't know.
That's weird that he wasn't on the card. But anyway,
he was on the Dash the next night.
Yeah, that's true. But
no, he was no, wasn't he on the show?
I don't think so, dude. Wait.
Well, let's keep going.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
He probably wasn't. No, he was in the Rumble. He was in the Rumble because he did the Santino Power Walk thing.
Did he?
And then on
because I missed the Rumble, so.
And on New Year's Dash, he also did the spot where he's going to lock up with Tana, and then he does the Power Walk. So now he's getting a Power Walk over. He's basically making everybody very disappointed that they did not choose him to be the television champion. But anyway.
Well, I'm sure he'll get his shot, man, because he's too good not to. But to be fair, do we need another championship?
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's right.
Well, if you're making a belt just so that the world can see more Kenta promos, then yes.
Should
absolutely.
They called it the Access TV Championship? Literally, like TNT Championship.
No, because no one knows what Access TV is.
True.
Yeah, we got to get some more Seth Rollins laughs on this show.
I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, that's good. It's my favorite part of all your shows.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, Tama Tonga is next, and it's Tama Tonga versus Carl Anderson for the Never Openweight Championship. Man, Tama, I love him, but let's be real, he's just not the same Tama. He's just Jimmy Chunga, as Enzo used to call him, because him without not being in Bullet Club, I don't know, dude. He's just, I don't know. There's something
missing. He's
missing.
the good bad guy.
The good bad guy, but he's missing something.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something missing, man. And him without Bullet Club, I know it's been like this for quite a while now, but I don't know, man.
Well, I understand what you're saying, Jimmy. On the other hand, consider this. What else is he going to do in Bullet Club? They've done everything. He won the tag team champions 1,000 times.
True.
He's been a heel. He's already done all that. There's nothing else he can do. He's giving this a try. Yeah, maybe it's not as good as he used to be, but he can always flip that switch when he needs to. If he needs to, he'll give you a good babyface, like a tough babyface promo when he needs to. Like, he can do it, but I think the real problem we need to talk about is fucking Carl Anderson, who's the shits, you know what I mean? And fat and lazy.
I absolutely hate him.
Didn't he keep the shirt on the whole match? Like,
he did.
Yeah, what a bum.
And what else I noticed, dude, maybe I'm tripping, but did you notice he was wearing his OC WWE gear, right?
Was he?
But not even the shirt. The shirt he was wearing was the OC WWE shirt. But not just that. I noticed he was wearing his WWE gear, but he must have been wearing a stocking over it or some shit, because it was hard to like see it, but you knew that was it. But it was kind of like he was trying to blur it out by wearing a stocking over it. Yeah, weird. But yes, he has. Yeah, he's a fat cunt, dude. That's what we call him down here. Mm-hmm. Seriously, let's be fair. He used to be in shape. He used to be a machine back in the day. No pun intended.
A machine gun.
A machine gun. Right. Anyway, no, but for real. But he has gotten lazy. But I do like Carl Anderson, Vet. I really do, man. I mean, I've liked him
this
since...
podcast's over. I'm out of here. You can find me at Opinion Ever on all the social media platforms. And,
I don't know.
And he fucked up the finish. Like, that was the big moment when he was supposed to go for the gun stun, and he like completely screwed up the bump and just looked like an idiot and made them both look like idiots.
He comes across like he doesn't give a fuck, straight up. Like,
well, there's not giving a
sometimes,
fuck,
especially
and then
now.
there's ruining another guy's moment. You know, like I don't think he meant to do it. I think he just sucks that bad.
Wow.
Go back. You can go back and watch that last gun stun. You tell me that he just didn't know what he was doing on that bump. I
well,
mean,
you know what? I have
the easiest bump in the world to take. You fall down on your face. You don't have to like go backwards. You don't have to do anything. You just the guy jumps up, he grabs you, and you just go down. And he screwed that up. Carl Anderson.
He's a WWE guy now, vet. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
you can't screw up that face, dude. Let's
Well,
be
then I
honest.
guess he ain't gonna be in a program with Randy Orton anytime soon.
It's so true. Well, anyway, Machine Gun was not accompanied by any of his fellow WWE superstars. He did cheap shot Tama with the belt before the bell and worked the heat against his old Bullet Club teammate in and out of the ring, but he couldn't put Tonga away as both men were desperate to hit gun stun, and Tama finally hit one off the middle rope. He followed it up with another one which didn't land clean, as you said, Vet, to win it, and that was it. But yeah, not much to really say about that match other than meh. It's true.
Right.
But
how do you hit a gun stun off the second rope and then just pick him up for a regular one? That's the if you hit one off the second rope, that's the finish. Stop. Like
how
just stop.
cheesy does the name gun stun sound?
It
I mean,
sounds
it's
very
like
cheesy.
backwards.
Yeah,
It's backwards, right?
Right.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. Like it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Funny. it's funny, but it's not.
So another weird thing that happened is in the press conference at the backstage afterwards. Then Carl Anderson comes back and like shakes hands and is like nice with everybody, and it's like Jato's there and everybody, Kikuleo's there, and he's just like, "I love you, bro," you know, and it's like, "What do you mean I love you? You turned on me. Like I didn't get this at all. Like why are they? You hit me with the belt to start the match. Why are we shaking hands and hugging now and toasting beers? Like what kind of shit is this?"
It's machine gun shit, vet. That's what that is.
Carl Anderson should be banned from New Japan for fucking up everybody's business.
Those motherfuckers have literally been able to be in every single promotion in a
I don't know
year.
Why anybody? Why would anybody? How could anybody feel good about handing them money? Like it's just, unless it's like a payoff to not come. Like just take this envelope and get the fuck out of my sight.
The honest truth about, the Good Brothers is they're a real poor man's version of the Outsiders. Let's be real. I mean,
real poor.
They're
like
poor.
a homeless man's version. They're like a meth addict, tent town homeless person going into a Walmart to steal stuff version of the Outsiders.
No. Well, apparently they're good guys. That's all that matters because they're the Good Brothers. Get it? Anyway. But next, speaking of Good Brothers, we got some good legends because it is Keiji Muto, formerly of the great Muta, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and also Red Shoe Sun himself, Shota Umino, who's back from excursion, defeating Los Ingobernables de Japón, in defeating Tetsuya Naito and Sanada and Bushi. I'm sick of these guys always losing, dude.
Well, it's Bushi, so.
I love Bushi, dude.
I know, but he's only there to lose.
But he's so cool.
He's there to have the coolest outfit, which I don't think his outfit was that cool this year.
Not this year, no.
And to take the pin. That's what he's there to do.
But come on, man. I mean, he's got... Honestly, I think if he was in WWE, he might even be a bigger star there. Because of his mask and, that... They might, push him a little bit.
Well, he'd have heat because the mask looks similar to Ray's mask. So he'd have heat with that. Well, and then they would bury him, and then he'd be on main event, and then they'd release him.
Well, to be fair, it was Mexico that inspired his look. So
I'm not saying I have a problem with it. There's, but that mask design is very... There's a few guys that have masks that's kind of similar to that. Just like a handful of guys over the years, but... Yeah, I mean, I like Bushi's
cool, man.
I like Bushi's like when he dressed up in the suit with like the big native headdress and all that stuff. Like, Yeah, like he's got a lot of cool outfits, but he's really just there to take the fall. So,
and Tetsuya Naito, man, he's one of my favorites. Always will be. But damn it, I feel like the end is coming real quick for him, dude. He's shot. His legs are shot, dude.
Mm-hmm. Every year he makes us think that he's gonna have one more run, and then they just fucking pull the rug out from him at the last second.
I want to see it, dude. I want to see one last big run from Tetsuya Naito, man.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those guys that if he would just change his style up a little bit, he wouldn't need to. Like he's the people love him enough that it won't matter what he does in the ring. So he should just maybe transition into something a little bit,
Has he gotten lazy, you think, Vet? Because let's be real, man. Even on Wrestle Kingdom, for him wearing a t-shirt in the ring is unlike him for Wrestle Kingdom, dude.
Yeah, but it's not
for the dashes, sure, and all those type of events when he's in tag matches and shit. Absolutely, he always wears a t-shirt. But Wrestle Kingdom, man.
When was the last time Naito was involved in a random 6-man on Wrestle Kingdom, though?
True. Wait,
so I mean, he's usually in a main event of some kind, or for some kind of singles championship. So of course he's going to take his shirt off, but it's not out of his character. And him being lazy actually is his character. Like that's kind of his.
It's like beneath him, like everything.
Yeah, like I don't even know why I'm doing this, but so that plays into it. Yeah, he's a little bit of Orange Cassidy, or Orange Cassidy ripped him off, whichever. But I mean, it's similar to that.
But much better.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing leading up to this was, how am I going to get a spot on Wrestle Kingdom? Like, that was the storyline all year. Like, I got to get to the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, and then it's like, oh, well, I can't do it this way. Well, maybe I'll join Tag League and win that. Nope, can't do that. Like, how are you going to have, you could have had Naito and Sonata, but instead you went with Goto and Yoshihashi. That just shows you how little faith they have in LIJ, because I guess they figure, well, they're going to sell the merch regardless, so why push them? I don't know.
Yeah, but man, I don't know. For me, like they're always special, especially when they come out, to a Western audience, they feel even more special because everyone eats it up, dude. Anyone that I hated the fact that Naito wasn't on Forbidden Door earlier or last year now. Mm-hmm. He would have been so great to be on Forbidden Door, because I feel like most of the Western fans totally dig Naito once they see him. Like, once you just get a look for him, and his history in New Japan and his story is so real. You know what I mean? When he was the Stardust, he was meant to be the guy, but the fans didn't see him as the guy. He had that Roman Reigns stigma long before Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he actually received it in a bad way, like in the negative way. Part of his character is him sort of, hating the fans for, not believing in him, which makes it even greater. And even his eye gimmick, I don't know if many fans know where this comes from, but it actually came from a place of racism in Mexico. Right, because they all used to, because he's Asian, obviously, they all used to say to him, like, open your eyes. So he started doing that, and he made money out of it. That is what you call smarts, man. Turning a bad thing into a positive thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, with New Japan, you can almost never tell what's real because they actually try to protect kayfabe over there. So when somebody says something, you kind of just have to take their word for it, because they're not going to break character on some podcast and tell you something different.
True.
You know what I mean? So,
and
he keeps up the gimmick at all times, right?
Absolutely. Well, as I was saying before, this is Muto's last New Japan match, a fun trios match designed to give the commentary team a chance to talk about Muto's connections to the other men in the ring, and B, to put over Umino. The latter was accomplished when Muto let him pin Bushi after he hit him with a Shining Wizard shooter, and Naito had a tense moment as the visitors exited. And you know what? Shooter Umino, should I call him? He's got the next Hiroshi Tanahashi written all over him also. But again, as we were saying about the Chibatas out there, the next Chibatas, we also got to be careful with Shooter, but Shooter's just naturally gifted, man, and has got that it factor about him anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. He's, again, a softer version of Tanahashi even, which... Yeah, that almost sounds
it's
like
the generations,
ridiculous,
bro. And
yeah,
people don't realize how fucking like hardcore Tanahashi was back in the day, man.
Yeah, he's so grizzled, but like his appearance looks like a very fantastic looking rock star from space or something like that. But he's actually pretty grizzled.
Dude,
you know, he's just a very nice, happy go lucky looking guy, but.
The nicest guy I've ever met in my life, bro. For real. Like, that's legit.
But you also, if you've watched him over the years, you know that he turns it on sometimes where he could get those fans to turn on him in a second if he wanted to.
Absolutely.
Like, he's just that good. He just knows just how to be just that arrogant and just that big of a prick, just enough to get the people to turn on him at any moment. So like, he knows what he's doing, and I don't know if Shooter's ever going to be able to reach that level. Even if they push him to that level, it's not necessarily going to mean anything. So, and the question is, you got Yuya Uemura is over doing stuff in Impact right now and everything. And he kind of is growing his hair out, and it's like, he kind of looks like they want him to be a Tanahashi. So, like, are we going to have a battle of the Tanahashis, or are we going to have a Tanahashi tag team, or like... You know, what's going to eventually happen here? How many guys with feathered, highlighted hair are we going to have in Japan in a couple years here? So I don't know, but I'm not sold on Shooter yet.
Do you think he should be the next Liger, possibly even put him under a mask?
I don't know. I don't know what he should be. He looks like if Tanahashi was looking at John Moxley and was like, I want to try to do that kind of. Like, that's what it seems like, you know? It's like the worst combination of both those guys. And,
apparently Moxley was one of his idols growing up, too. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where the whole Shooter thing comes from.
Moxley gave him the name.
Yeah, because he mispronounced his first name. So, anyway.
Shota,
yeah, so, but anyway... Yeah, so, like, the only other thing about this match I really want to say is I did think it was funny when Muta went to go up for a moonsault and everybody talked him down and he just casually climbed back down the ropes. That was fun.
Man, the fact that he's still going blows my mind, dude. And I've always been a fan of the great Muta. And he's the only Japanese wrestler to actually win a major North American World Championship in the WCW World Championship. So he's the only guy that can claim that. And he was a huge star back in the day, man.
Yeah,
worldwide, that is.
Oh, certainly, and he's a lot of people's first like exposure to like a real pushed wrestler from Japan from another company. You know what I mean? Like, because of course Japanese guys have been around, but like the way New Japan has their Young Lion system and their excursion system and all that stuff, this was like the first like major company exposure for a lot of people to see him do that. And you know, there were times in this match where I was worried. I was like, is he going to fall over? Don't fall over. Like,
he's still a solid brick shithouse though, man.
He's built good, but now, like, you know, again, the legs, the legs, right? The upper body's much bigger and the legs are not as, you know, the knees, not what they used to be.
He's got that bow sort of
he's got the bowed knees, so like that's just what happens if you can't fight Father Time. So but I mean, he didn't fall over, and it was a okay match to actually have a send off. You didn't want to have like a singles match or something. He just had a match with Nakamura, you know, the previous 3 days. So I didn't get to see that one yet, but
I haven't either. But I'm kind of eager because everyone's telling me this was the old Nakamura. Although I did see the entrance, that was spectacular, dude. I mean, the way that was done was unbelievable. Put it that way. But I do want to check it out.
Yeah. Well, everybody go check it out. But
absolutely.
What was next on this one?
It is Hiromu Takahashi defeating Taiji Ishimori and El Desperado and your favorite guy in Master Wato. I can't stand that dude. To win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. But to be fair, Vet, where do we go with Takahashi? I feel like He's been there, done that a million times over. I don't know what's next for him. I love the guy. He's so talented. But surely, I mean, him and Despy can go on forever. I mean, seriously. But really, is it time for him to move on? I mean, maybe try to bulk up and go heavyweight?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they really do that. They probably could just say he's a heavyweight. He doesn't have to do anything.
He's kind of pretty... Yeah, but Japan don't usually play that way. They legitimately, for example, when Kenny went from cruiserweight to heavyweight, and many other wrestlers, not from cruiserweight, but from light heavyweight, whatever, in Japan, he legitimately put on a lot of muscle mass to start looking like a heavyweight. I love
but
that
other guys
aesthetic.
don't do that.
I mean, some people do. I mean,
some people just decide. Some people just decide they're a heavyweight or a junior. Look at Takagi. He came in as a junior.
Yeah, true. And he
don't look no different. Well, he's a little fatter, but that's because he's making more money. That's because he's making more money and he's eating more. So that's why he's fatter. But I mean, yeah. So I don't know what else you can do with Hiromu. It's time for Hiromu to come to America for a while, because
I agree.
You were saying with Naito, but I feel even more so with Hiromu. If he walks out, any crowd anywhere will instantly get him. They will instantly understand him. No, they will, because you just look at, obviously he's wearing this weird squid jacket or whatever that he has.
And he was pulling the heart or whatever it was. It was meant to look like he was pulling some sort of body string.
It was like an eyeball on a string.
Oh yeah, eyeball on the string. Sorry.
Yeah, and he had this stuff with eyeballs all over it and squid tentacles and everything. But normally he just wears that punk rock jean jacket, with the suicidal tendencies, with the all I wanted was a Pepsi on the bottom, and when you see this guy, you see this guy, you just immediately get it, and he's got a charisma that you don't need language to get the charisma.
Dude,
and not every Japanese guy has that.
No, dude. But you know what's funny? If you put the closed captions on while he's talking, especially between him and Naito, it is the funniest stuff you will read, man. It is that good.
Yes, very, very funny. So we know he's just the way his character is and stuff. Even if you don't understand exactly, you can still get it. You get the flavor of it, and that's something that wrestling needs, because wrestling in America is a lot of the same. It's a bunch of guys that either look like Buddy Murphy or they look like Mike Bennett. They're either some bald white guy with a beard or some white guy with the carrot haircut and a beard. It's too much.
Darren?
We need somebody that looks different. Yeah, I call it the carrot because it's coming out the top and not on the sides, like a carrot thing.
He's a carrot. He's got a carrot top, man.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. So
absolutely.
So yeah, I'm just saying there's too much same old shit, and somebody like Hiromu would be in anywhere he goes, it'll just be an instant injection of life kind of.
Oh yeah, a breath of fresh air, absolutely, man. As long as the Western audience can actually understand him, and usually if you see the first time you lay your eyes on him, you just get it. I mean, he's that charismatic. He's another one that can play off that wrestling so beneath him. He's that good that he's above it.
But he's the opposite though. He loves wrestling. He loves wrestling to the point where he doesn't want to move up out of the juniors in character anyway. He doesn't want to move out of the juniors because he wants to elevate the entire division, not just him leave the division. He wants the juniors to be the main events of the major shows. He wants to main event Wrestle Kingdom as a junior. That's what he has ambition. And so
he's done. He's beaten everyone already. It's just there's no one there to go that far.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I'm just saying, in the character, that's what he's shooting for. He didn't get to make Forbidden Door, right? He got sick at the last minute, right?
Yes,
so
you're right.
It was supposed to be him and Darby, and that would have been the match to book. That would have been
classic, because they're very similar in many ways too, but not really. But they kind of would so complement each other though, as characters, in my
Well,
opinion.
yeah, they're very similar in a way, but even still different. But yeah,
Right.
and while we're on the subject of Darby, just real quick, I'll just slide this in there because I know you watch AEW every week. But
course.
how good is Darby Allin, man? How good is Darby Allin, bro?
Well,
you guys, I hope you guys are appreciating what you're seeing with him.
No. Hey, I'm a fan of Darby, man. Always have been. My problem, though, with how they've booked Darby is this start-stop thing with him, man. You can't keep doing that with him, dude. I mean...
Well, with him you can. With him you can because it's believable it's believable that a guy like that could... The fact that he takes such a beating, he's not going to win a lot. But he also has the ability to beat just maybe anybody on a given night. That's the whole gimmick. Well, just little things that I see him do that set him apart. Like
he's believable for a small guy because he knows how to use his body in a way that could take anybody down. Because he literally uses his body as a weapon. That's the positive thing about him because he gets who he is. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I want to point out something just to give you an idea, like the kind of stuff that I'm looking for, kind of like crossing your legs on a small package or whatever. The match he had with Samoa Joe on the last week's Dynamite where he actually won, right? So at the beginning, he does the thing where he attacks Joe, and then they go out there, hits him with a skateboard, jumps off the ladder on him, and all this other stuff. That's all, whatever. I don't care. You know what my favorite part of the entire match was? It's when he goes and he grabs Joe in a headlock, right? Grabs him by the nose, sticks his fingers in his nose, and pulls him all the way down by the nose to the ring. Why is that important? Because how many times, Jimmy, have you seen, when guys are like fighting outside and one of them will just like lightly grab the other one by the back of the head and they'll just walk somewhere? Like it looks like, hey, let's just go for a walk, man.
Literally like walking him.
Hey, come on, like you're really pulling this guy. No, you're just touching him and we're just going for a walk. Darby grabs him by the nose. A guy like Samoa Joe, Darby can't pull Samoa Joe wherever he wants, but if he grabs him by the nose and Samoa Joe doesn't go, his nose is going to go. Exactly. So he has to walk with Darby not to get his nose ripped off.
Again.
Yeah, and those are the things that set him apart from even the other guys that are like a Jeff Hardy, for example, who just falls off stuff. Like he would never do anything that smart in a match and never has. But Darby is actually a really good worker who just chooses to throw his body around recklessly, but he still knows what he's doing. Hiromu used to be like that more. He's calmed down a little bit ever since his neck broke.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, shit.
But
he was way crazier, dude.
But you always get the sense that in any given moment he will bust out something crazy, which is why the Time Bomb name is so appropriate for him. But anyway, yeah, to your point though, he wins this match and like I don't know where you go with him because he's already cleaned the junior divisions out. I also don't like how this was a 4-way because it really made no sense for him to win the Best of the Super Juniors tournament and then just two other guys just walk up and be like, I want a title shot. So it just ends up being a 4-way. Like, why do we even have a tournament then?
Right. That's just
this is like an episode of SmackDown. Like Adam Pearce is like, I'll make it official, and then we have a 4-way. Like, nah, man. Can we have just a singles match at Wrestle Kingdom for this? Like, do we have to?
Well, I guess they're trying to get as many guys on the card as possible, man.
Fuck that.
Were you watching?
Fuck that. Put them in the Rumble.
Yeah. Were you watching it with the English commentary team or the Japanese? The Japanese is still better though. Like,
yeah, it's better. English. I had it on English this time.
So did I, but the Japanese one was really good this time. Like for some reason, I felt. But what do you think of Gino Gambino, man? I just find New Japan funny that they're so politically like they have to have a British dude, an American dude, and an Australian dude. Like, it's so New Japan. Does that make sense? Like.
I think they just got whoever they could, because
really they could.
Yeah,
I
didn't miss
whatever they want.
Well,
really.
we used to have just Kevin Kelly and Don,
and they were great together. Don Callis as a color guy was awesome.
I'm saying, but neither one of them was diverse. It was just a Canadian American. I mean, whatever. But I would just say that I didn't miss Gino. He was gone
He's
the whole
very
time.
humble, though. He's very humble, man, these days. For whatever
He sounds
reason.
like when he's talking, he sounds like whenever Kevin Kelly just makes fun of his voice anyway. So I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, he kind of overdoes. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you think I sound the same as he does, for example.
No.
But like, yeah, I feel like he overplays the Aussie accent in many ways. But then again, that's really him though, too, dude. That's kind of how he is.
I don't know. Do you have a soft spot for him because he's a countryman, or do you just not care?
Not because he's
a
countryman. I've kind of known him all the way back since the Australian indie scene. So to see him absolutely in the shindies of shindies in Melbourne, where I'm from, all the way to New Japan, and actually having a pretty good... I mean, let's be honest, he's a lucky guy, man. He's got a great gig being the colour guy on the commentary team.
Sometimes. Is
yeah.
he still in
now
Bullet
it seems-
Club? Is he still in Bullet Club? Technically?
I think so. Technically, he does say technically he is, but he tries to be Michael Chiavello too much. Do you know who Michael Chiavello is?
No.
He's an Australian commentator, probably the best known. Colin Wysong is a big fan of his. Actually, as a matter of fact, he knows him really well, but he's mainly known for MMA and boxing, kickboxing commentating, right? Mm-hmm. He will always be like, "Good night, Irene." You might know his voice anyway.
I may have heard some of his calls, not knowing who he was.
But he's a big pro wrestling fan too, and he's got a lot of interviews with JR, Stone Cold, like all the big guns, man. And he's in America, like he's been on Access a lot, like he commentates a lot.
Well, no
of
one
American
watches that, Jimmy. So
well, that's true. I mean, that's true. Who am I to judge Access or Mr. Lipman? But anyway. He just tries to be him too much. You understand? If I ever show you a clip, you'll get what I mean. But anyway, during the juniors match, we were told that the Pro Wrestling Noah's Congo faction confirmed Los Ingobernables de Japón backstage while confronted Los Ingobernables de Japón backstage while L.I.J. was talking to the press about the Muto match. But Vet, the next one, it's the 6-star banger, according to Uncle Dave. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I thoroughly loved this match. He did. He gave it a 6.25, as a matter of fact.
Get the fuck out of
He
here.
must have really... I mean, does he really cream his fucking pants? Seriously.
Well, that'd be the only action he's getting, so probably, yeah.
Damn. Has anyone seen his wife? I'm curious, dude.
No, like, no one's ever seen her, not even him.
I'm so curious. Well, anyway. That's right. Meltzer. That sounded too Aussie. That was too Aussie.
What is it?
That sounded like
what are the stars up to? 8, 9? Nobody cares.
Yeah. It's like, hi, Meltzer. Like, Dave. It's like, John. But anyway, forget friggin' Seth Roly-Poly Rollins, or Seth freaking Rollins. But it is Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Heavyweight title. I mean, dude, we had everything. We had the big entrances from both men for the first of our 2 main events.
Well, let's pause right there and talk about the entrances.
Oh, that's...
So, Kenny Omega finally lives up to his dream of actually coming out to Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII's
yes.
theme.
Yes.
Like
yes.
the legit
Sephiroth.
theme. He's had the one-winged angel. He's had the whole, like, the knockoff
and the way
theme.
he looked at the camera, too. Like, he knew it. You know what I mean? Like...
Right. So now he's got his full costume on and everything. So, like, typical Wrestle Kingdom entrance, like big, the kind of big presentation that we used to see from guys like, King Nakamura and stuff like that.
Big match Kenny at his greatest here, man. This really made me realize how much I missed Kenny in this setting, dude. Really.
Now on the other hand, you got Will Ospreay. Now, Will Ospreay, not a bad entrance. However, he used his old theme, which...
Elevated.
Let's be honest, Jimmy. That theme is not like a classic theme that it means something if you bring it back. Like, he was literally using it like about a year ago. It wasn't that old. It's not like, oh my God, I can't believe he's using his classic elevated theme. So he should have just came out to his current theme, really, I think.
And I like that better even, man, his current theme, dude.
His current theme's good. It sounds less...
Yeah, I know what you said. Like,
I'm trying to be politically correct here. It sounds cooler than his old theme. His old theme is good for like
poofy vet. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say that. I said no such thing, Mr. Segregation. But
touche.
Yeah, but I did. I was going to say that elevated can work if you're a babyface.
That's what
they're trying to paint him as the babyface in the situation. Yet he's still a heel, and he's still got his whole faction, which is a bunch of douchebags too. So. I don't know. I just thought it was corny. I think they should just use his current theme. What do you think?
I agree. I was kind of surprised hearing Elevated. Look, the fans did sort of gasp. They were like, oh, like, you know what I mean?
They're trying to be polite.
Elevated. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. People don't realize that Japanese professional wrestling fans legit are very respectable. Like, they're so respectful of the art and what's meant to be cheered and what's not meant to be. But don't get me wrong, they will go against the grain. I.e. Tetsuya Naito when he was getting that mega push initially, when he first, was coming up in the company.
Yeah. I mean, they will tell you if it's bad enough.
Absolutely. They will. No, for real.
All right, so we're past the entrances and we're in the match now. So what'd you think? What do you want to talk about here? Because I know you had some strong feelings.
They kicked the shit out of each other, man. Like, for real. I mean, look at Kenny's eye, for example, dude. Look, one too many V-triggers, though, I will say. There was too many V-triggers, but still...
I don't know. In years past, Kenny's done lots of V-triggers in a single match before.
That's true, and this was typical. I mean, it was a V-trigger party, dude, like, legit. Like,
did you... Really I want to ask you, though, with the build and everything to this, which, it was...
I think it was decent.
It was a fine build, but it was...
Right.
It was kind of like at the last minute where all the build was at the last minute, right? So
but you had to listen to interviews also between both of them. Like, Kenny would absolutely, like, if you listen to any of his interviews, like even from like 6 months ago, he would literally bury the shit out of Will Ospreay. So they're planting those seeds from many
setting it up, getting the business done right. So that was that. But when you actually, before the match, did you actually think? Were you surprised by how brutal it was? How brutal it ended up being?
No.
Really?
Exactly what I expected. Really,
you thought they would do this?
Yeah, I did, because it's Kenny and it's Ospreay, dude. And the way this was built, it was pretty heated, man. It sort of had to be this type of match.
I agree it had to be. I just didn't know if it would be. I mean, not to the degree it was. I mean, dude, look, I didn't think they weren't going to lay it in or anything, but like they went a little bit far.
They went hard, man. Yeah, they did.
So I guess that's more what I'm asking. Like, did anything surprise you about it? Not in the sense like should they have done it, but did you think they would actually do it? Especially considering how, we talk about how Kenny is not the same guy when he's on, AEW television. A lot of the times it's a weirdly goofy or joking
overly
around
goofy,
or
right. Yeah.
And he still works hard in his matches, but it's just like it's a little different.
It's different, dude. It really
were you concerned that we were going to get AEW Kenny to show up here? Like,
nah.
Are you sure?
No.
You can be honest with the people, Jimmy.
No, straight up, man. I was anticipating Kenny's return to Japan for quite a while, dude, and I think even he was himself. I truly think he was stoked, dude. He was happy to be there, and the second he looked at the camera and said, "I'm back," right? I knew straight off that bat, man. Like, I knew straight away we were going to get the Kenny evolved, and that's what we got. From the "you can't escapes" to a million V-triggers. I mean, what I love about, and this is the thing, a lot of people obviously call Kenny overrated, and sure, I can maybe understand if you're just looking at his AEW stuff. I don't want to stress it as much as I have over the years, but man, you watch his New Japan stuff and it's night and day. I mean, Watch that shit, then come back to me if he's overrated. You know what I mean? Yes, he can be goofy, but when it comes to just his matchups, always intrigue me, dude. He can literally have a great match with anybody, including a blow-up doll. You know what I'm saying? So, I know it's fine. I try to block that shit out, believe me. And I've seen some whacked out shit. People try to put me off Kenny Omega. But regardless, I don't understand how people call him overrated. I guess if you see what he does, you know, in the States, sure, maybe. But even that is still... The guy has got the most protected finishing move, right? Let's be honest. It is the One-Winged Angel is the most protected finisher in all of wrestling. And that is a great thing. Because no one protects their finishes anymore. But by God, he does. Only Kota Ibushi was the one that kicked out of it. But trust me, no one's kicking out of it. You know what I mean? Unless it's going to have real meaning behind it. And I like the fact that he protects it. That should make people respect him even more just for that.
All right, well, this has been brought to you by Kenny Omega Fan Club. And,
Sorry, no.
No, but
are we all gonna like suck it now?
Yeah, we all. So we can definitely agree that he's two different people for whatever reason.
Absolutely.
Why he doesn't act more like this when he gets a chance on American television, I have no idea. I'm not sure if it's just a coincidence or if it's something he doesn't think he needs to do, or if he even realizes what he's doing. Like, does some invisible switch go on when he's just in front of a certain group of people? Like, or does he, when he steps in a ring that has a blue mat, does he wrestle different than one with a gray mat? Like, I don't know what it is, but it definitely is something. And despite what Jimmy said, I definitely thought, okay, well, these guys are going to talk all this shit in this build-up, and then they're just going to get in there and literally flip at each other. And there was a little bit of flipping, but...
Oh, of course.
But they... you know, for guys that are primarily, when people try to dismiss one of these guys and just call him a flip-flopper or those kind of things.
Even Ospreay gets unfairly treated, dude.
Well, look, Will Ospreay
Back
brought
in
it
the
on
past, sure.
Yeah, he brought it on himself with that fucking match with Ricochet that went viral, okay? So that's
that was
why...
many years ago now, though, man.
I know,
it's true.
I know, but yeah, you when you do stuff like that, then you got to dig yourself out of a hole. You know,
it's taken him a long time to dig out of that hole. I mean,
that's just the way. But the thing is, people ain't watching Will Ospreay on a regular basis. They still think he's that guy from 2016 or whatever. So they're not seeing the improvements that he's made. Whereas,
no, continue on.
I was going to say, whereas also with Kenny, we've seen a regression. The past 3 years, he's not been the Kenny Omega that we've seen in years prior to that. So you see one guy like. That's kind of the story they're trying to tell, where Ospreay's saying that he's been climbing up the ladder and Kenny Omega's been slipping down. And then, you know, it's the truth is no, it's not. It's really not. We're both really at the same spot right here. So
interesting. You made me just remember something as you brought up Ospreay and talking about who's being elevated while Kenny's in, you know, America doing his thing. Ospreay still in Japan and the UK. But did you catch his interview from yesterday on one of the Japanese sites, I believe? But it was all over Twitter and Facebook and shit.
I didn't.
Well, basically, I don't have it in front of me, but and I'm not gonna like, you know, verbatim it. But basically what I'm saying is, what he said, he's actually paranoid about wrestling in the States. He doesn't know if he's gonna stay in Japan next. Right, but he's leaning towards staying in Japan. And then he went on a rant about why he doesn't want to sign for any company in the States. He goes, man, I shit myself. Like, I get anxiety. Like, he's almost like, he's not sure if he's like good enough for that. While he feels that he's looked at as a star in Japan, he can go home, back to the UK, do his thing, and then, you know, go back to Japan and be Will Ospreay again, and then go home and blah, blah, blah. And he claims, and I'm sure he's making decent money, but he claims he's making dream money, you know. And I guess, you know, you don't use that literally in what he's saying. I understood what he meant, really. I guess what he means, being in this position, like for New Japan, he's making extremely good money compared to, you know, working just your local indies, you know what I mean, obviously.
Sure. Well, I mean, we're not going to be talking about local indies if he comes to the States, right? We're going to be talking about one of two major companies. So, but he has right to be afraid, because why should he have any guarantees that he's going to be used in anywhere near the capacity that New Japan has been using him? Sure. So, anyway, after the match was over, he said in his post-match promo, he said something about like, if I don't get this done in one more year, then maybe I'll leave Japan, basically. So that's like another layer of the character, and I'm sure that's a working comment that he's saying, but then again, so back to the match. So like you said, these guys kicked the shit out of each other, and it did surprise me. You claim it did surprise you. I doubt it. I think you're just trying to sound smart, but
no. Because I've followed this legitimately from listening to the interviews. Like, I've literally followed
look, Jimmy, you didn't see anything I didn't see, man, and I did. I doubted him.
For sure.
Okay, I doubted him.
I'm surprised that you did, because, like I said, it needed to be this type of match because of how heated.
I don't want to say I doubted him. Let me just say, like, I was like, okay, let's see if they do it. Let's see if they do what they should do, because you can't be having no soft match after you said all the stuff you said. So, they sure enough didn't. There was some really. It's not just like, God, some of the bumps they took were just. Normally, I'd say, hey guys, don't do that, but this is the one place that you have to do it if you're gonna do like when he dropped Will on the top steel buckle or whatever. Like, I was just like, fuck, what are you doing? What even was that? I didn't know if that is an accident or not based on the first time I saw it.
And I understand if people shit on shit like that. It's like, that's not wrestling and blah blah blah. But you know what, man? It kept you on the edge of your seat. You know what I mean?
But it didn't feel okay. Like, you know when John Moxley does shit and you're just like, ugh, that's obvious.
Rolling your eyes.
Yeah. I never really felt like this watching that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, hell no.
It felt different. The guys had a good match. They had a really good match. They worked hard. There was enough psychology there. Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't all there, but it was mostly there. So yeah, I would definitely. I'm not. I don't need to grade things with a star, but I'll say I liked it. I thought, both the main events really delivered, and we'll get to the other one in a second. But
I will say this, what did surprise me, I was expecting Ospreay to get the win, but halfway through the match, that's when I realized, Kenny has to win now. Only because he was kicking the shit out of him. Let's be fair, he dominated him anyways, right, during the match. And then it started feeling like the story they were trying to tell in the ring started to feel like almost like student versus teacher type of thing, you know what I mean? Because Ospreay's always trying to be the next Kenny, to be the next, what do you call it? The next Gasian to be the next big star, you know what I mean? That Kenny was. And unfortunately, I don't know if you ever get elevated to that point, because it's hard, man. Kenny was just a freak of talent when it came to, in Japan. But to be fair, Kenny had to win. Once you looked at the context of the match, it made sense for Kenny to win. But is he going to put Ospreay over in the long run? I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
It was surprising. It was surprising for the reasons that, like, not just the reasons that you said, because it makes sense looking back at it. But in the moment, I was just incredulous. Like, the only reason Kenny could have been brought over here was to put Will Ospreay over.
That's what
also, even if you win, like, okay, what are you going to do with the United States Championship? That seems beneath you a little bit, but
it's true.
Who knows? Who knows what their thinking is when they make these decisions? Maybe they thought, oh, well, having Kenny carry the United States belt on United States television is a good thing for us, more so than Will Ospreay doesn't need it. He's not going to the United States. So what does that even mean? I don't even know why they have a United States Championship if it's not going to be like the main title of their strong portion of the company. Like,
and it's not.
They made up their own belts for strong.
Right.
And it should have been the US belt all along. But so this is just weird, but so I was weird. It's like, okay, so now Kenny's the United States champion, like a not very prestigious belt.
I'll tell you what's weird, dude. New Japan's doing some weird out there shit lately. Like, for example, we've got our own strong now, right, here in Australia, called Tamashi, right, which is Oceania strong. And New Japan's permanently doing events here, right? But get this, New Japan's putting on an event and bringing quite a few of the stars down again. But in the middle of a country town called Wagga Wagga, dude. There's no one there. Let alone, I don't even know if there's any wrestling fans in Wagga Wagga, dude. Let alone New Japan fans, right? But, dude, they're doing a show there next, and I just don't understand. Like, it's in the middle of like redneck town, bro. Like, I'm talking about, like, full blue Aussie, like, g'day, mate, I'll fucking shit your ass. You know, that type of shit.
Is it? I mean, but do those kind of rednecks like wrestling? Because American rednecks like wrestling.
I don't know who their marketing person is, dude, but whoever it is, I don't know, man. They need to be fired. I might do the drive for a shitster, but even I would be a bit funny going to those type of towns, dude. Wagga Wagga. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
All right.
I thought I was seeing things, dude. I was like, what? For whatever reason, I don't understand why they're doing that, man. But it is what it is. But yeah, New Japan Tamashi. that's our thing. That's
coming soon to a backwoods hick town near you, I guess.
Wagga Wagga.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound any more Aussie than that, man. But anyway, in the end, there was a what's it called? Kenny does win with the one-winged angel in the end, and 1, 2, 3, and that was that, man. But we had everything in this match. I just suggest you go and check it out, man. I mean, honestly,
it's crazy. Even if you historically don't like either one of these guys, check it out anyway. See if it changes your mind.
It's a
because you're not going to see too many guys do this to each other and let it happen.
There was shiners, there was blood, there was absolutely everything. I mean, seriously, go out of your way to get, paying 9.99 yen or however way you get it and watch that match, because it is a banger and a half, as the kids say. But you know what, Vet, let's move on to the main event though. Finally, it is Kazuchika Okada and Jay White for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, this is standard at this point. Anyone facing Kazuchika Okada and Okada being the challenger at Wrestle Kingdom, you just know they're throwing that belt straight back to Kazuchika Okada, and that's exactly what we got. And to be fair, after that Ospreay Omega match, damn it, they did well, but there was no way they were gonna like I almost felt bad for him, dude. Legitly.
Yeah, it was not. No matter what, they weren't gonna even have that same type of match. So
it's not like them anyway to do that. So
no. But even if the match was not on that card, they would have had this kind of same match. The match was great, of course.
It was. No, it absolutely was.
Because you also got, not only was the match itself in and of itself great, but you also had the build-up, the years-long build-up of all the baked-in story between the two guys, and how it just, there's always that doubt that Okada, can actually beat Jay White. I mean, he hardly ever does it. So it makes you think, like, is he just gonna, are they really gonna let Jay walk out with the belt on the Inoki Memorial Show?
No,
you would never. But here's the brilliance of New Japan booking. You would never think that for a second, except Jay White seems to always win, so you have to doubt it. Like, you're gonna be like, are they gonna fuck us again? But it turns out not this time, but you still were wondering, like, right up to the very end, especially when he hit that Blade Runner. Like, it's like, oh shit, is this, are they doing it? Are they doing it? And I think one of the, 100 reasons why Okada's the greatest is because he will make you believe, even when somebody should have no business winning, he'll make you believe they might win. Like a true champion would. Like Ric Flair did all those years, and like that. So for all the Ric Flair fans in the house, there I put Ric Flair over the old Ric Flair, which was ironically the young Ric Flair. But Yeah, so you had that whole thing. Like, if they had Okada go over Jay White all those other times, this would have just been another one of the times it would have been boring. But because you had that doubt, like, oh my God, Jay White is he gonna win again and ruin Inoki's anniversary?
I love it. In some ways, that would have been actually brilliant, especially with him just going vulgar on the mic, man. And I love the thing about Jay White, man. Like, for me, again, he's one of my favorites. I mean, the guy he gets it, man. Like, he just gets it. Like, I truly think he could be a huge star in the US.
Of course he could.
But do you think he will? Do you think he's the type of guy that will eventually make that step? Or do you think he's going to be like an Ospreay and maybe too scared, shall I say, to actually, he can't handle that sort of pressure to become a big deal in the place where, overall is where it really matters in terms of professional wrestling to become a huge star. Let's be honest, right?
It all depends on how big a star you feel like you need to be.
Well, that's true.
Like right now, you're a top guy in New Japan. So if they're paying you and you're happy, you have no reason to come to like WWE, for example, and just have them roll the dice that they're going to do. They're going to let you do anything close to what you're currently doing now. The creative freedom that he has, I think he really needs that to get over to the degree that he needs to.
For sure.
And I'd rather see him in New Japan, but then again, it is a smaller pond. So now, one difference between Jay and Will is, doesn't Jay live in the United States already?
He does. As a matter of fact, I think he married
Florida,
an American in Florida, yes, and he married an American woman, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, so right off the bat, his issue won't be living here, that's for sure.
Well, he married an American woman, so that would make he should be able to get citizenship actually quite easy now, wouldn't he?
I think it's automatic, but even so, he probably would have done, whatever it took to get it. But that just means it'd be like that. That's the only thing. Is it like, are you going to have those long flights to Japan, and how often? So
well, he seems cool with it, man. To be honest, I mean, he seems like he can handle it, But the thing about Jay White, and this is one thing I like about him, he doesn't show him, like, even in real life, like I've been around him, man, you get the aura, like, he just doesn't want to be around you, man, like for real, he totally, like, he's just in the corner, man, on his phone, doesn't give you eye contact, nothing. And I've told you the Will Ospreay story before, right, where I realized how small he really was, when he asked me to take a photo for him. Did I tell you that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like, he literally tapped me on the shoulder and was like, hey lad, like, can you take a picture for me? Like that. And I turn around, I'm like, hey, Will, what the fuck? Yeah, man, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Why are you asking me? Because it was for a fan. But I guess the fan was just so, when they're that happy, like, they just can't speak, man. It's weird. I've never been like that. But yeah, that's when I realized, damn it, Will, you need to fucking, I don't know, grow or some shit. Because we're like the same height practically, you know what I mean? But he's not wide. You need to get wider. I feel like he's lost a bit of muscle mass now too, man. Because he gained a lot at one stage, and then I feel like he's gone back on it. But anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about Ospreay, but the point is, Kazuchika Okada defeats Jay White to reclaim his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in a great match that unfortunately had to sort of, try to outdo Kenny and Ospreay. But the video package before the entrances, Gato is here with Switchblade. Rocky Romero joins commentary and compares White to Triple H. Really? Tanahashi is now at the Japanese announce desk with legends like Masahiro, our hero, Chono, and Jushin Thunder Liger and many others, as Jay taunts him before the bell too. But, typical Switchblade in the early going with body shots, leaving the G1 winner gasping for breath as he hits a dropkick to knock White off the top. Gato tries to get involved and both heels get a DDT on the ramp. They trade strikes in the ring, then Okada hits a tombstone and a clothesline to set up the money clip as White escapes and Gato thwarts a dive, so both men get sentoned. But anyway, In the end, Rainmaker was to get the 1-2-3. But after the bell, though, Vet, we had White initially refusing to give the belt to Red Shoes. He eventually does, though, as Okada gets strapped. As Jay crawls to his feet, he pulls himself up. They share a look before Switchblade rolls out, and Gato helps him to the back as Kevin Kelly talks about Okada and Inoki's legacies. When Shingo Takagi rolls into the ring with a microphone, he congratulates the champ and talks about their main event at Wrestle Kingdom 16, then touts his accolades since it's, to lobby for a shot at the belt, as Chris Carlton is confused on what date Shingo said, but we'll find out soon enough anyway. And Okada tells him to scram. He puts over his accomplishments at New Japan's 50th anniversary, thanks the fans, and tears up asking Inoki what he thought of the fights tonight. He knows Inoki will be watching New Japan's next 50 years from heaven. He'll continue being champ and making it rain all over everybody. And the crowd cheer. Since they can, Vet.
And then he
goes
goes
up,
up
the show.
Yeah, and then he goes up to the ramp and gives the Inoki Ichi-ni-san da too. And then that's when
that's cool.
The pyro goes off. They explode
and
a bunch of pyro.
Bumbaya song kicks in, I think, too. At the very
it
end.
Sure did.
And that reminds me, but such a classic tune too.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Feel good moment. Who knows what like maybe if Inoki hadn't passed away, I wonder how the booking might have changed. Because they might have switched some things up if he was around for the 50-year Wrestle Kingdom thing.
You think so? I still think Okada would have.
Well, no, he would. Well, I'm just saying, would we've even had this match? Like, would things have even gone any differently? Like maybe this would have been a whole other. It still probably would have been Okada, of course, but would they have had, for example, would Jay White take the belt off of him at Dominion, which was actually a much better match than the Wrestle Kingdom match, if you ask me.
Oh, for sure. No, definitely. Absolutely. But I think that still has a lot to do with them having to, live up to the Ospreay Kenny match. Because everyone was flat by that point, man. Everyone was gassed out, man.
Well, I know you're just trying to put over Kenny again, but I'm not really talking about I'm not talking about what happened that night. I'm talking about after Inoki passed away, how much did that change the booking for the rest of the year? Like, did they have other plans that they scrapped because of that? Or did they just carry out what they already had planned? Did they make little changes here or there? Like, I just am kind of wondering, like, what might have been different had Inoki been able to attend this special Wrestle Kingdom or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell, man, really, for me. I'm not sure because it still feels natural as well in many ways. Like,
yeah.
But the thing is, because they always do this, man. They always sort of, even before the whole Inoki thing. Look, to be fair, did Jay White really need to lose it? I was actually pretty entertained by Jay White being champion, even now.
I'm surprised he won it. Because, yes, because I thought for the 50th anniversary year, they would just have Okada go undefeated all year long, and it would be kind of boring, but at least it'd be like kind of in the spirit of Inoki, like not doing no jobs, right? So when Jay won at Dominion, I was kind of shocked. Like, I really was.
But that was such a great promo.
Not that he doesn't deserve it or anything, but I just thought.
I thought his promo after that match too was absolutely brilliant as well, man. And I was cool with that. I felt like we were sort of getting a bit of momentum again in New Japan when Jay won it again. And let's be fair, there was a whole period of New Japan during COVID where it was just the booking was just all over the place, like unusually. But I think we're starting to get a bit more stabilization. Look, there's still a few cracks and chinks they need to sort of fix. Like the tag division needs urgent help. Urgent. For whatever reason, they've just neglected that, and I don't think they've meant to. I just think they literally went, "Oh shit, we just killed the tag division, and what do we do?" sort of thing. So we'll see what happens, man. But if you had to give this event out of 10, what would you give it?
This event out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 7.
Yeah.
Because I think the bottom of the card was not that memorable. I think the top of the card was very memorable. And so like most of it's like a 3.5 each for the last two main events, you know, and then everything else was just kind of like, okay. Not that it was really bad. There was no really bad stuff on the show. But I mean, yeah, 7. I just feel a 7.
I'll go 8, actually. I really enjoyed it, man. Like, I thought I was going to fall asleep to it at one stage, but I didn't. So
I was so tired.
I was tired.
Watching it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
was
That's
so
what I'm
tired.
saying.
And then you see Carl Anderson come out, and you're just like, oh my God, how am I going to stay awake?
But like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it throughout the whole event, and I even watched New Year's Dash. I mean, we'll get into that probably another time, unless you want to quickly touch on it now. But I mean, there wasn't too much.
The only thing really to say was that, you know, you had Okada and Omega got a tag team match in at the end.
Which was a holy shit moment for me, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I was like, damn. These two are tagging? Like, what the hell? Like,
Well, you knew that was going to happen. We're down to the main event, and there's only 2 people that haven't been on the show yet.
That's true. But, you know, I wasn't even sure if Kenny was even going to be on the show with that shot. And to be fair, he hardly was in the match anyway. He hardly done anything, to be honest. Really, he didn't do shit. But it was good to see, no less, man. But definitely I would have given it about an 8. But I think we can call it a night, actually. I mean, we've done 2 hours, dude. Exactly. So, in saying that, dude, unless there's anything else you want to touch on before we go, tell them where they can find you, man.
Yeah, sure. So you can find me on all social media platforms at Opinion Haver. So pick your favorite social media platform and follow me there, including twitch.tv/Opinion Haver. So you can hang out with me and watch me play games sometimes. And then you can always catch me on the Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray Hernandez every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. We've been having a world tour of guests of like my old friends that I've been trying to bring on. So we just had Victor from the Ascension come on and hang out with us for a while.
Cool,
I got to chat with him for the first time in a long time, other than, you know, messaging, of course, but face-to-face talk. We've had Timmy Baltimore has been on with us as Jimmy loses power on his phone.
My phone died, literally. I'm still here, though. Perfect timing.
And we've got, what else do we do? We've had Mike Mondo come on and do his special brand of breaking down matches. So that episode is still available for free on YouTube forever. So if you missed the special with Mike Mondo, go check that out and listen to a real wrestling genius talk about today's wrestling and specifically NXT. And we hope to bring more interesting guests there in the future. Of course, you can also catch me every Monday on the Impact Attack with Brandon, and that goes live at 6:30 p.m. Pacific and 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday nights. We'll talk about everything that's going on in Impact, but even if you don't like Impact, just come and hang out with us. Why not? What else are you going to do? Watch football? Watch Raw? Get out of here.
Yeah.
I mean... Yeah, if you watch Raw, you might have to watch Carl Anderson. Wouldn't you much rather? Wouldn't you much rather watch Hami Media Group with Channel Attitude and YouTube and everything?
Absolutely.
I think I'll be, you know, maybe until further notice, I might be filling in on the Smack Attack. I just recorded an episode today, as we record this. So, if you like hearing about SmackDown, and we also talked about Wrestle Kingdom, and we also talked about Vince McMahon coming back. So check out the Smack Attack, channelattitude.com. There's going to be, in 2023, I see a lot more vets on Channel Attitude for whatever reason. But yeah, that's it, Jimmy.
That's beautifully put, man. Well, like the vet said, if you want to follow me, you can on Twitter at DJ MassFX and also at the PWC Network. Please like and subscribe right here at the PWCNetwork.popping.com, where you can find all our shows. Also, please like and subscribe at channelattitude.com, where for $5 you can get to hear me and see me, and maybe even the vet and whoever.
Unless his phone goes out, then you can't see
Unless my phone goes out, that's true. Where we talk AEW Rampage, and also like and subscribe at HamiMediaGroup.podbean.com, where you can find all our affiliate shows. And I think that's a wrap, vet. So in saying that, I'm Jimmy T. He's the vet Jaimie Williams, and you've been listening and watching the PWC New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 17 review show right here on the PWC Network. See yous.
Fight! 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 Fight!
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.